Bobby, now that there's a seat that's open up in Philadelphia, who's the next guy in line to get that chair?
Well, I mean, I think you could probably go two different directions, right? I mean, if you want the coach who has, been part of a championship team, it's probably Ty Lue, who's handled veterans before. I think if you want to, steal a page out of Toronto, I mean, when Dwayne Casey was let go, nobody really knew who Nick Nurse was. And you can probably go with a guy like Ime Udoka, who's been there, I think this is only his first year there. So I think you can go internal or you can go kind of outside of the family there. I think the logical name is probably Ty Lue, just probably from the experience standpoint. I mean, this is you're not walking into a rebuild of young players, draft picks, although Simmons and Embiid are, still in the prime of their career here. And you're going to have a coach that is creative because, let's face it, you're married to this roster for right now because of where the expenses are.
Bobby Marks is with us here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, 20 years in NBA front offices. Bottom line here, Woj reported yesterday that basically the Sixers want to keep Embiid and Simmons together. The conventional wisdom is that might not happen. So in your thought, from a front office perspective, take salary into account, take moving these guys potentially, or the difficulty moving them into account. Embiid, Simmons, or as Woj said, Bobby, keep them both. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I would probably keep them both for right now. I mean, they're both, you don't have to do anything. I mean, the Simmons contract just is about to start, his rookie's contract, and you've got Embiid for another 3 years here. So I think whoever they hire, I think I want maybe a full year to see kind of where they are. I think if you asked me as far as from a trade standpoint, who's more valuable than the other, I think Ben Simmons is more valuable than Joel Embiid. I really do. I think even with the injury with Simmons' knee here, I kind of think you kind of know what you're getting with Ben. I mean, we're at this point right now, and guys, I think eventually we're going to have to start holding Joel Embiid accountable a little bit more than maybe what's being out there, because it's kind of like the same song and dance that we've seen the last couple of years from him. So, but yeah, I think from a trade standpoint, I would probably hold on to both. I don't know if I'd do anything with Tobias Harris, because if I move Tobias Harris, and I don't know where his value is right now, and he's got $140 million, then you still have the Al Horford problem. So it's kind of like I said, it's like moving, chairs on the Titanic, right? It looks good in one spot, but the boat's still going to sink here. So there's a lot of work to do. I mean, there really is. I mean, they've got 5 draft picks. We'll see what happens in October. They've got to improve their shooting off the bench there. You're probably going to lose Alec Burks, who's a free agent here. But, probably the second most expensive roster in the NBA next year. We went from a real good story 3 years ago to now it's an overpriced house.
Bobby, there's no hiding of my short run with the Nets and the fact that you officially cut me when you were a part of the management organization. So I won't hold that against you with my Nets question. But this pipe dream of Gregg Popovich coming to the Nets, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that was mentioned, and it's kind of like has spread like wildfire, right, Jay? I mean, I get it, right? I mean, Sean worked in San Antonio and played for Pop. We're probably trying to connect the dots here where, Pop has got a young team. It's not a championship roster. If he wants one more crack at it, then you could probably do it in Brooklyn here. I would be really surprised if that's that's where Brooklyn is going. I think Jacques Vaughn will get a really good look. But as I wrote in the Nets offseason article, it's one thing from coaching, a group of no-name guys in the Orlando bubble who are playing their tails off and are competing to when you get KD and you get Kyrie back and you get Spencer and DeAndre, and now you have that championship aspirations here. So that's another appealing. I think it's more appealing than Philadelphia, definitely. But yeah, it would be hard for me to see Pop leaving San Antonio. But hey, we work in the NBA and we've seen crazier things happen before.
It just still hurts my feelings that you cut me, Bobby. I gotta let you know that.
That was probably one of the hardest decisions I think I've ever. Well, I've ever had to been a part of. So I'm sorry 25 years later.
It's all good.
20 years later.
It's all good.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.